Kermit.
Hi there! Rohan here. Uh,
Hi
Laro
everyone.
natin. Hey, and we have here Geoffrey, Chia from Good Spirit Games.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Good Spirit Games.
Okay, thanks for joining us tonight.
So, yeah, I'm joined by Freddie,
Mhm.
Dwayne, I'm Ron. Thank you everyone for joining us. So this is Geoffrey, and Geoffrey will be joining us in Bacon.
Yep. Looking forward
Woo!
to be part of Bacon, and that will be my first time going to the Philippines for a board game convention. So I do look forward to have a very fun and positive experience with the people living in the Philippines as well as the gamers over there. Yep.
Awesome, awesome. So you've gone to the Philippines a couple of times, but mainly for vacation, no?
Yep.
This is the first time you will be playing board games,
Yes.
really, as in a convention setting. Okay, well, um, you have a lot of things to cover,
Yeah.
but we have a usual tradition here in our podcast where we would ask, what was your recent game that you've played? And it could be your game or some other game, and just so that we can talk about different games that we enjoy in this hobby. So I'll start it off
Okay,
with you,
okay.
Dwayne.
Sure. Well, kind of a nightmare scenario. Yesterday I was in 5 pods of basically bracket one commander. So if you're not familiar, like there's a new announcement with bot
Yeah,
C.
the leveling thing.
Yeah, and
No,
bracket one is like the CEDH thing. I did not bring a CEDH deck,
okay.
but I was there in the pod. So I just watched people combo off or just wait really long. But it was fun. It was a new experience. And the bracketing system for Commander right now is actually kind of working. I mean, I don't mind
I
it.
appreciate I appreciate the level because you can wear it like a it allows you to set the tone of the table,
Yeah, like
right? Oh,
I'm
sorry.
radioactive. I'm bracket one.
Yes.
Don't come near me. Yeah.
These are expensive stuff.
Yeah. So that was me. That was the most recent thing, and I really can't forget about it. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I did enjoy it. Like I do miss playing Magic from time to time.
Nice, nice. I also wish I could play more Magic. How about you,
Maybe.
Sir Freddy?
Surprisingly, since our episode last week, I haven't been playing games.
Oh,
I've had I've had such a very busy week, and so yeah, I can't say anything.
no video games even.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay. No
like
worries, no
I,
worries. It
Oh,
happens. It happens.
you did play one like with the 2K, the 2,000 point thing in Conquest.
oh yeah, over the weekend I was able to play a 4,000 point game of
Oh,
Conquest. That's
nice.
it.
Okay,
That
okay,
is it.
okay. So
Last
Conquest is
Sunday.
a big
Yeah.
war game that has this sort of like, I don't know. It's only my interpretation. I'm not that
Mhm.
familiar. It feels like this Conan universe, like big barbarian
Yes.
Highlander,
Highlander. So
Yeah.
very different war
like rank
field.
and flank. Yeah. So
Nice.
it's a
Yeah.
push your armies type.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for reminding me. I like the week. So,
Yes, yes. Yeah. Me, I got to play it's an odd game. Tree Society. And you think it's like, oh, some it's this
Enviro.
so sort of. So setting wise, it is you're in this utopian future where everybody lives in trees, and you guys are architects building tree houses.
Okay, okay.
But the mechanic is more on you are building. Well, okay, we have a lot of thank you everyone for participating. The guy in red, of course, is Sir Freddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Desky's just pretending not to
Yes,
recognize
of
me.
course, of course. Hey, Rap. Yeah. Yes, it's been less than half a year for me. Hey.
Yes, Desky, you should play more games.
Yeah, yeah. And Adric, how are you? So you're basically building these projects in basically three houses, but as you build them, they give you either temporary bonuses to give discounts for other trees or ongoing engine mechanics. So it's as you're building, you have a mini ongoing engine. So something like what Geoffrey has made. We'll talk about that later. uh, but at the same time, it has this weirdest market. Kind of cool, but so you're selling fruits, but it's not a demand. It's like if there's more fruits of that, you get a better payout. So the more people are producing that, you're paying out. You're getting a better payout. So it's very odd. So I guess it's like a reverse.
Yeah,
Because it's a utopian world. If you're producing more as how everybody else is producing, they're supporting you more. They're paying you more.
that makes very little sense.
It does. It doesn't make sense at all. But mechanically, it's interesting, and yeah, it's fine and it looks good. How about you, Geoffrey? What
All
game
right.
have you played recently?
I've played a few games last week together with Daryl Chow and some other local Singaporean influencers. So I played a few games. One of them is called Flower Fields. Not sure if you've seen it before. Flower Fields from Horrible Guild. So basically, it's polynomial tile placement and open drafting game. Yeah. So it's kind of like King Domino, but it's a little more challenging. The challenge is you need to spend currencies, which are bees. So you have these cute little wooden nipples that shape like a bee. So you use them, right, put on tiles that allows you to score similar to crowns in King Domino. Yeah. And
Nice.
the way to get the tiles, right? Okay, it's done in a round circular settings whereby you take a tile, or you can place a bee to take the next tile, so on. Yeah. So it is the mechanic is quite simple. Yeah, but there are a lot of challenges in terms of scoring, and there are many ways to score for Flower Fields. So, which I would say that this game is kind of like a challenging version of King Domino. Yeah. And I've also played another game called The Taverns of Taffentel. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I pronounce it correctly. So what I'll do is I'll just type it out in the comments. So maybe you can let me know how am I going to comment it. Nice, okay. So the spelling of the word Taffental is Tiefenthal. So it's called the Taverns of Taffental. So yeah,
Let me
it is a okay game. I find that the gameplay wise is good, although the setup is taking too much time for what the game is. Yeah. So despite that, well, we do enjoy our time last week. Yeah, playing these two games.
Cool.
So you're when you play games with other designers.
Yeah.
So I guess when you're playing games, there's a lot of critiques.
Sorry, yeah, a bit breaking. Yeah, so I can't really hear the question.
Oh, hello, we're back.
Hello. Okay, well, I'm back. All right.
Okay. My question was, yeah. So my question was, you mentioned that you game with a lot of other designers. So I guess when you guys are playing games, there's going to be like a lot of critiquing happening at the same time.
How does the
Yes.
banter work?
Yeah. So how does that work? Like, I find this like there's too much of this. Is it kind of like that?
Yes. Although it really depends on the personality of the designer. Yeah. So basically, it really depends on the relationship with other designers. So I tend to be more open and honest with Daryl Chow. But for other designers, I tend to keep my comments a little more. What's the proper term?
Reserved.
More reserved, more respectful. Yeah. So of course, during playtest, we do playtest each other's games, not just with Daryl Chow, but also with other designers. Yeah. So also really depending on the relationship with the designer. So usually the closer ones, right, we tend to have a lot more honest feedback. Yeah, which is way a lot more helpful because I mean, among between the more experienced game designers, we learn to provide constructive feedback. Yeah, that is more important, regardless whether you're honest about it or not. Yeah, so I do appreciate that. Of course, if if like let's say I'm not close enough, right, then I'll be more reserved in my comments, so on. Yeah, so I would say kind of okay. It really depends on who I play with. Yeah.
Okay, cool, 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 cool. And I think it's similar, somewhat. When because we have a local unpub, so we are part of a group of designers. So when we're talking to the Larong Atin group of designers, oh, it's upfront. It's like there's no more filter. It's like, bro, I don't like this one. I don't understand this. What does this? Why do you still have this? And we're giving straight feedback.
Yeah,
But if it's somebody on the public, it's a little reserved because I don't know how they're gonna react and what is their intention.
yeah.
Um,
And the idea is you want them to come back. Like if it's an pub and
yes.
like they're a first time designer, you don't want to shoot them
Crush
immediately.
their dreams.
Immediately. Don't come back.
Yeah,
No, we
At least
don't do
not
that.
immediately.
yeah, I do understand that.
I do
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah.
Although I do have some exceptions. For example, maybe there are some designs that I personally find it um, way way impossible to be published, to the point where I felt like I should be brutally honest, otherwise that guy is going to waste his time. Yeah, so
Yes.
there are some exceptions that I might meet a aspiring designer for the first time, but if the game is really not ready, I tend to go way brutal on that, yeah, especially when I felt like the game is really not ready. But of course, there are some games that we play tested that is not perfect, but has huge potential. Uh, yeah, we tend to give honest feedback, but we do encourage designers to to challenge themselves, to improve on it, so on. Yeah. So most of the time during our play testing sessions in Singapore, right, I believe that we try to help each other. Yeah. I mean,
Nice.
despite sounding like a criticism, but in the end, it's not against you, but it's more like against your, your. I won't say against your future, but it's like we're trying. We're more worried about your future. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So we
yes,
don't
yes.
want a game that you can't sell, or because it's not what uh the market expects. It's not what the market demands. Yeah. So I felt like game designers, like, we are the one proposing what's fun, but it's the market that decides what's fun. And that's where the sales comes in. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yeah.
Yeah, we try to advise people against their own financial ruin.
Yeah.
Basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
but when you meet people that just tells you, "Oh no, it's just my fun project," we're like, "Yeah, but you're gonna spend this much. How much extra fun do you do you have?"
Yeah, I do
um,
understand.
I do understand.
but so I have some stuff of yours we could share with everyone. Um, but just to give a background, how when did Good Spirit Games start? How many years ago did you start publishing? And uh, what got you into game design?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll start with one fun fact. Good Spirit Games is actually my second publishing company. I actually started out as a different publisher in during the year 2014, and I would like to show you, if you can see from my screen. Yeah, this is my very first game called Tribal Nation that is
Cool.
published in 2014. All right. So I started out publishing this game without any experience, without any expectations, and without knowing there are so many thousands of games out there. Yeah. So what inspires me to publish these games, right, is I've been playing board games since I'm a teenager. And of course, it's the usual Monopoly, the chess, the more traditional ones. All right. Yeah. Of course, along the way, there are some there are some unique board games during that period of time. But I was thinking that, uh, Monopoly is fun because it's popular. That game I've never heard of is likely not fun because nobody heard of it. Yeah. Until in Singapore, there are growing number of board game cafes, and I've visited a number of them, and I was really surprised by modern board games during that period of time. So, like, I was so impressed with Catan. I was so impressed with Carcassonne. I was so impressed with Werewolf. Imagine, right? Okay, I mean, as gamers, we might think that this is probably dated games, but for a person who got exposed to these games for the very first time in their life, right? Okay, you know, this is basically very revolutionary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there on, right, I kind of being inspired to start designing my own, and therefore I came up with this game, Tribal Nation. All right. It is. I personally felt like it's still a fun game, but although it's not perfect. So as I started out this business, right, myself without any experience, I just braved through the rain, braved through all the criticisms, braved through all the losses, braved through all whatever insults. So imagine, right? You get criticized for your games, right? Okay, when I started out my first game, basically whatever bad things happen or negative things happen, right, all happened before. So from there on, right, I decided to so-called close down that company and started playing more games. So after thousands of games later, I became a collector, became a gamer myself, and that's where I felt like I'm ready to return. So of course, I'm not using the old brand, which is actually called Chris Crossfire. That's my previous company. So
Nice,
I'm going to
nice.
start a new company called Good Spirit Games, and I felt like my purpose of designing games is for everyone to enjoy. So good spirits basically means happy, right? So it became my design philosophy, whereby I hope that whoever plays my games will have fun with it. I felt like
Nice.
that is basically my main objective. I not expecting to be the best designer in the world. I'm not expecting to my games to be the top 10, in YouTube. But all I want, right, is whenever someone purchased my game and they felt happy and they felt fun, all right, I think I have achieved my primary goal. And I felt like as long as people are playing my game, people will find value in it, because best things will come. Yeah. So that's
Mm-hmm.
my story.
Nice, nice, nice. There's a couple of questions here, and I think you kind of mentioned it a while ago. You were impressed with
The
Catan,
classics.
with the classics, no? That's how sort of it. For me, I remember my first time to play Power Grid,
Mm.
and it was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's paper money,
Mm.
but this doesn't feel like Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
feels like something really tangible and fun, and I wanna. This is impressive. I mean, and I think that's always the fun part of
Mm.
coming up with a good game design is when the other person is like, "Ha, that is a fun idea," you know. So other than
Like what
uh,
what single game? Like if there was a game that turned you to the board game side, what would have it
I
been?
see.
if you were to
Only
choose
one.
one.
Okay, to be honest, right, I can't remember which particular game actually made me decide to go into board game publishing, but um, the best chance, right, okay, the more memorable ones, right, okay, is actually Acquire. Yeah. So the game Acquire, right, is older than us. Yeah.
Yep.
So considering, right, the game, right, that is so old and it's still relevant as of this year, okay, it really inspires me to kind of, have this dream that, what if, right, someone is going to play my game, right, okay, for many years or even centuries to come, and hoping that this game mechanic, right, is still relevant many years later, like Acquire. Yeah. So regardless how people think about the game, yes, I do agree that Acquire does have some randomness, but considering the gameplay itself, despite the randomness, right, is still widely enjoyed by a lot of people and is republished by many publishers as of today. Yeah, this is basically an achievement that not many games could achieve. If you think about that, yeah. So I would say Acquire is basically one of my biggest inspiration that actually almost, I mean, not almost, got me into board game publishing. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
agree. Acquire is still, if
Still play
somebody
it.
asked me my top 10 games, Acquire is always there. And part of the reason for that is because of when it was designed. When it was designed, it was really groundbreaking. It was one of the first modern board games that I actually played.
Yeah, because of modern.
And it still holds itself with current games. So I 100% agree that Acquire is something that should still be played and should still be on game shelves.
Yeah, and it was even funny. I was doing some research on the term Euro back in the day when I was doing the articles for Variable Play. So I encountered what was the game that inspired Euro designers, and it was Acquire. The thing was, Acquire is an
Parker.
3M.
Yeah.
It's from 3M. It's an American game.
Yep, it's an American
So
game.
so so at that time where there was a still very strong divide in the early mid 2020s, mid 2010s, right? There's this Euro, American style games. There was still this difference between the two. Nowadays, it's all mixed. You can barely say, is this still Euro? Is this still American Thrash? None of that anymore. Okay, so what we want to share to people the games that you have available, but I am super interested to try out that first game of yours because it looks so cute. I mean, branding wise, I already appreciate the look and feel of it.
Well,
So
yeah. In fact, I'll bring some copies to Bacon next time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Please do, please do. So because sometimes even designs may not necessarily be perfect, but I also appreciate the growth of the designer. So seeing their
Yeah.
original ideas, how it progressed to the next one. Oh, they've perfected it here, but now I have this sort of history
Mhm.
snapshot of the journey of a designer from their original designs to where they have today. From well, not necessarily that it would always work out. Mystic Veil started with a very clean
Yeah.
um, execution, amazing, but it was actually from a bigger game that he had to distill
Mhm.
down, and then when he finally published the big game, it wasn't so great.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's too convoluted. But the Mystic Veil was groundbreaking.
Yes, yes. So
Uh,
so
yeah, and I really appreciate that because, like, remember the last time we actually met face to face in ABGF, I told you that uh, Riverwoods is now my favorite Geoffrey Chia game,
Oh,
and
thanks.
that's because the first game of yours that I saw was Contraband Insider, and then I think it was Kabuki Tricks, and then
What is great?
Sushi
Contraband Insider, Nightmares of Sushi, Kabuki Tricks,
Nightmare,
then Rose. Yeah.
and then so I've kind of seen your development as a designer, and I could really feel how you have grown
yeah,
as a designer,
agree, agree.
and I'm really impressed with your designing journey. Aside from the fact that every time I go to ABGF, Jeffrey is one of my favorite people to meet there.
Always high
Yeah,
energy.
he's always high energy. He's always with a smile.
Yes.
So I hope Jeffrey will be able to bring that energy and that smile to Manila as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely, definitely. Yeah.
Everybody
Like,
will.
every time I
Yeah,
see you in Singapore, I'm also looking forward to see you again. So yeah, I do enjoy my time with you guys as well. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, so we've mentioned a couple of games. I'm gonna go forward a bit. So the first one that I encountered in your games is Contraband, right? And um, theme wise, this is Chinese mafia. What is the story of Contraband?
Okay, so the theme of Contraband Insider is actually inspired from the movie called Infernal Affairs. It's a Hong Kong crime movie, which is a trilogy. Yep. So it's basically about the triad sending a mole into the police force, while the police force sending other undercover to the mole. And basically, there's battle of wits, which there is an outcome. If you have not watched the movie, I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah. So this movie, Inferno Affairs, is one of the most iconic movies in Hong Kong cinema's history. Yeah. So in fact, anybody would not say anybody, basically people who are familiar with Chinese cinema, right? Okay, will actually find Infernal Affairs, the movie itself, very familiar. So and another fun fact is for Contraband Insider, when I designed the game, right, it wasn't intended to be a crime game from the start. So I'm a mechanics person. So basically, I before I select the team, I design the mechanics first. So in fact, right, the mechanics actually came from this term called "don't put all your eggs in one basket."
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So which means that if you put eggs in one basket, this basket it disappears. All right, you lose all your eggs. So basically, right, the game kind of like you're hiding your eggs in different locations and try not to get them taken away. Yeah. So I've developed the mechanics further, and once I have finalized, the core mechanics, that is where I have to make a decision on the team. So obviously, when I look at eggs in the basket, I thought to myself, this is a really a stupid team. So therefore, I would like to change the team, and upon a lot of brainstorming, I decided that okay, the Infernal Affairs is a good idea. So I put that idea into it, make some tweaks, and basically create a more Sin City kind of art style, and therefore
Yeah.
Contrary Incident was born. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed my experience with this one. There was it when I was first experiencing it, there was this game called Storage Wars, which was based also from a film from a series, and where you have some sort of partial information about a stash, or in this
Mhm.
case a container. And but then in that game it's bidding, and yours is more of this, yeah, kind of bluffing style. But the look and feel immediately, I was like, oh, this is a designer. I wanna monitor and see what's next, because yeah, it looked really cool, and I enjoyed my experience playing it.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay, so let's go back to. So the next one was, is it Nightmares of Sushi and
Yes.
then Kabuki? Okay, okay.
Yes.
So Nightmares of Sushi. I don't
Mm.
know why sushi can have a nightmare, but
You get poisoning.
ah, I see. If you eat the fugu,
Yeah, fugu is one of them. Yeah, so of course, if the raw fish wasn't treated well, right? Okay, you actually suffer one of the worst food poisoning. Yeah, because for example, there are a lot of what I call it parasites in raw
yeah,
meat. Yeah, so of course, the the meat in various sushi restaurants has to be treated, and of course, the chefs would definitely know that what consists of a good piece of raw meat and what consists of a rotten one. So therefore, most of our time in sushi restaurants are positive. It is quite rare, but if a sushi restaurant screws up a sushi, right? Okay, yeah, you actually suffer one of the worst experiences in food poisoning. Yeah.
so you got to experience it, and then you turned it into a board game.
Actually, not exactly. I've never experienced food poisoning in sushi before. Yeah, I mean, probably it's because I know which sushi place to visit. Yeah,
Mm.
so yeah,
Okay,
and to
okay.
be honest, right, it's quite safe to eat raw sushi in Singapore as well. Yeah, we do have very strict regulations when it comes to food safety. Yeah.
Yeah, and because we're both an island country, but Philippines have really quite a lot more islands.
Mm.
Definitely, when you come here, we would try the seafood.
Yes.
Um, because it's going to be a lot. Um, all
Mm.
of our sushi sashimi are exported. we,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we don't get the first dibs.
All
Just
Sure,
the
fair
all the
enough.
good
Same as Singapore.
tuna
Yeah.
gets exported out.
yeah, yeah. Most of the prime tunas are all first in Japan, then maybe Hong Kong, Singapore, and then whatever is left.
We get the rejects in our local markets.
Yes.
I see, I see.
So you mentioned that you're a mechanics first. So here we have another question here
Sure,
from.
sure.
So I'm curious, what's your favorite board game mechanic, and what about that mechanic that you find engaging?
Mm. Ever since I've become a publisher, I don't have a favorite. I tell myself never to have a favorite because once I have a favorite, right, I tend not to play that type of games. In which, as a designer, I felt like I should be exposed to more genre of games. Yeah. So rather than saying favorite, right, I can roughly explain what kind of mechanics I play the most. Um, well, I think for now, as of last year and this year, right, I played a lot of trick takings. I played a lot of Euro games. Um, and as compared to the past, I started to avoid heavier games. I still like strategy games, but I have been avoiding heavier games. Anything that is more than 2 hours, if I could avoid, I'll avoid. Yeah, unless I really love my group. So, so probably the yeah. So, but of course, I am not avoiding heavier games is because of my schedule. So, I mean, if I have free time, right, I do play heavier games once in a while. Yeah, but to answer this question, the game mechanics I played the most as of the past 2 years are Euro games that are more focusing on long term strategies like worker placements, so on, as well as trick taking games. I've been playing that for the past 2 years, most of it. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I agree with the gamers. Designers should try as much games as they could, and the challenge in that is that we don't have unlimited time. So so sometimes even for like big games, I would ask they would ask, hey, we wanna do you wanna play this game? Actually no, but I wanna sit in learning how to play, just so I can see how the mechanics work, and then I'll let them be, because I cannot spend a game night just playing one single game. Um, but sometimes, on occasion, I would do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if somebody can make me sit on a table for more than 2 hours to play a game, it must mean I really like that play group.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Definitely.
Okay, so this is one that you mentioned before the stream, that this is actually doing quite well for you.
Yes.
Kabuki tricks. So can you tell us more about Kabuki tricks?
Yep, sure. Maybe at the same time, I'll explain Nightmare Sushi and Kabuki Tricks together. Yeah. So why am I
Cool, cool, cool.
putting these two together, right? Is because they are actually in a series. Yeah. So I'm attempting to create some sort of IP, basically like a game series about this Shiba Inu. We call it the Shiba Sensei. Sorry, Shiba Senpai. Sorry, Shiba Senpai series. Yeah. So basically, it's each game, right? There are standalone gateway games um, that that covers a parody of Japanese culture. So this is the first game, Nightmare Sushi. It covers the topic on sushi. The second game, right, is talking about kabuki. Yeah. So so for Nightmare Sushi, I wanted to create a gateway game because I felt like, despite me being more of a Euro gamer during that period of time, I felt like I should try to cater to the more casual audience. Yeah. And I believe that, to start with something that is a little more humorous, a little more cute, really fits gateway gamers, all right, and casual audience as well. So I designed Nightmare of Sushi, right, as a short game. The first game will be a shorter game, all right, with a twist in a way that, let's say, you can win by the most points, or win by losing the worst outcome, both ways. So basically, right, it's, if you're a good player, you try to win the most points. If you're a bad player, all right, no fret, there's a chance of winning by getting the worst points ever. Yeah. So basically, it is my attempt to create something unique whereby you win by winning and win by losing, and it's a short game. Yeah. So basically, I'm hoping for more replayability. So that's for Nightmare Sushi. And Kabuki Tricks, right, is my attempt for trick-taking games. So, like I've mentioned in the previous question from Ramos, I did mention that I play a lot of trick-taking games. So, as I play like hundreds of trick-taking games, there are a few pain points that I felt. Yeah. So, for example, I felt like trick-taking games are way too random, way too chaotic, way too much luck. So I'm challenging myself. What if, okay, I design and publish my own trick-taking game that mitigates these pain points as in my personal pain points? But of course, if you enjoy randomness in trick-taking games, that's fine. All right, yeah. But basically, Kabuki Tricks, right, is a project that kind of made me want to challenge myself to create a more unique trick-taking game. And basically, I made a trick-taking game whereby, you know, there's some control with how the control over the strength of the suits, control over how you want to score your points, so on. Yeah. So in fact, Kabuki Tricks as of last year is probably one of my most successful product because it received a lot of attention, and I am thankful for the trick taking community around the world. As of last year, I've received a lot of love just for Kabuki Tricks. And as of today, 25th Century Games from the US publisher will be doing the global English localization. So therefore, right, there will be Kabuki Tricks in the US, and they are also going to distribute their Kabuki Tricks to many parts of the world as well. Yeah. So and in fact, there are many languages in talks right now. So I do look forward to Kabuki Tricks in different languages. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Amazing,
Thanks.
amazing.
Thanks.
And good job on the series. Even your Facebook page, the your mascot is also there consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So and now to our favorite game. The
Yeah.
and I think it was the first game we played. So as soon as we arrived, was the very first one
Yeah.
that we played. Um, so
At least the first non-larong atin game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Because of course we were also demoing at the same time.
yeah, and so this one we got to see your somewhat smaller games in essence. Although Contraband is a little bit there's you have a personal board and there's also a common space, common market. But this one you have these exploration tiles, and then you have some sort of it feels like worker placement, but it's not necessarily worker placement, but it sure feels like worker placement.
You need to place your companions around.
Yeah, and then you move your companions around and tiles show up. Um, maybe you can summarize for people to how this game plays, because I'm a big fan of it.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, to summarize the game, right, it is actually a hexagon tile laying game. Players play a role as city dogs. So it's up to 4 players. Each player will choose a dog. So these dog breeds are actually British dog breeds. So choose one of the dogs, all right, and you will get to choose a starting position. So yes, there will be a map with different hexagon tile placements, all right, and in each round, each player will have to do 3 actions, and each actions are decided by number tokens. So you have 3. Just imagine you have 3 round tokens, 1, 2, and 3. And there are 3 actions for you to choose. So let's say, for example, there is a movement action. If I put a number 2 at a movement action, therefore, I can have 2 movement steps, whether is it from my player piece or from my companion. And of course, the other actions are placing more tiles and you hire companions to help you in your journey. So at the end of your turn, you can achieve various objectives. Some objectives are landing on a color terrain at a certain size. Some are surrounded by resources. Yeah. So you score points along the way, and one of the interesting thing about Riverwood is right is for the objective is at the start of the game it's more like a race, which means that you players are racing right to score the most points at the start of the game. But at the later part of the game, right, okay, you have to plan on how to maximize the number of points to win. So basically, it's a kind of game whereby it is challenging. There's definitely a sense of urgency. Yeah, but also requires a lot of planning, especially when the action selection is decided by the number of action points that you are allocated with. Yeah, so I think that's yeah, and the game is total 5 rounds, so most points win. Yeah, I think that's the summary of it.
Yeah, I appreciate actually the progressing puzzle because so yeah, you start up with those three tokens that already is a fun decision every round because okay, I want to buy that, but I want to be able to afford it, so I'm gonna use this up. But I want to be able to move, so it leaves me with just this one last option. So I'm so always accounting for where my budget goes. So I have a budgeting portion, and then now I have the puzzle. So it's like budget and then go, okay, what do I want to do? That's and then you increase the puzzle every round. You add a new scoring mechanic. And like I have one in my hand and I'm looking at that. Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I do that? And it's constant back and forth. Just is so much fun. But and you go like, oh no, it's fifth round. It's fifth round. It's about to end, and you're just making these three decisions. These three last decisions, and that's it. And so, yeah, for everyone who's coming to Bacon, please definitely try this game. It is a fun one. It looks, as what you said, fancy,
Yeah.
fancy doggos. They are quite fancy, and their friends are fancy too.
Yeah.
So
They have companions of different types. Like there's a hedgehog. One of
yes,
my main motivations why I dragged them to the to your table is like there's a hedgehog.
yes, very nice, very nice. So Geoffrey, thank you for joining us today, and I want to invite you to Bacon. Bacon, we've been doing this since 2017, and started out as a not necessarily as a joke, but like a wishful idea. It's like, can we really do this? But it ended up happening, and yes, Bacon started in 2017, kicked off, and every year it just doubled and doubled. And this year we actually have a pretty fancy venue, and for everyone who's joining, so it's going to be in uh, 18 Missouri. So this is in
Annapolis Green Hills.
Annapolis Green Hills. It's just uh, be across Promenade.
Across Promenade.
Like
Yeah.
walking.
Promenade Mall.
Yes. So
Got
just
it.
across Promenade, and it's near everything.
Yeah.
So food, uh, hotels, everything is there. Green Hills is one of those classic malls, uh, kind of like your Simlim Square.
In Singapore.
Used to.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day when Simlim was where you buy all of the gadgets.
Tech stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's how it was Green Hills
It's a bit
wise.
different now.
Nowadays,
also
it has
changed
evolved.
now. Yeah, yeah.
It has evolved, but that's where we used to buy our not so
Geek stuff.
the geek stuff. Okay, so but yes, so it the capacity we're expecting to have 500 participants this year, because we just have been growing year after year. And so I'm inviting everyone, invite your friends. We have space for you, and you get to try out Geoffrey's games. Uh, every year we do this, so it's just constant fun. And the way it works is just you just sign up, people show up, play games, try out every other publisher's game, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole event. There will be simultaneous events like D&D one shots, RPG one shots. There's somebody would be running tournaments. There's also people that will be doing miniature paintings. I know there are some volunteers who wants to run some cosplay, so there's also that. Well, just fun time. And all of this is being driven from the game groups. So when we started this, it's really our main goal is to just spread the hobby to more people, and we follow core values of openness, welcomeness, supportiveness, and regularity. This is how we build all of our game groups. So openness meaning anybody can join. So I appreciate that when you said I wanted to design more gateway games that more casual players can go, and we really appreciate those because to us who are advocates, having a good
Gateway.
gateway game can really make or break converting somebody from somebody who just passed by, played one game and never looked back, or somebody who passed by and now stayed and never looked back. Right. And of course the welcomeness, you'll feel this in every game group that we have, and of course in Bacon that people are just saying, hey, hi, come in, mabuhay, welcome po. And of course supportiveness. So I'm really proud of this is that every gamer is here trying to help out the establishments that we are playing in the venues that we are playing in. So it's not only that they're just playing there, they're also buying food, they're just helping out so that the industry works. And it comes in like clockwork. So that's why we always try to hit April 1st. Since but near there,
Yep.
realistically speaking, sometimes you can't because it's not the weekend, it's not reasonable, but we always try to hit that because it's how we started, and so it has been happening year after year. And there's even asks now to do it more than once a year, so we'll get there, I think we need to grow this a bit more. So of course, the beauty of this is that you get to interact with your new fans that are gonna come in here and get to know you. In terms of they now have face to face, and of course, just the volume of people that will join. So hopefully, with your help, it'll also allow us to grow the Philippine, not necessarily just Bacon, but just the Philippines in general, to become also like Singapore, where it becomes a destination to go to. Because we are excited to visit you guys year after year. It's big. It's not part of
Yeah.
our year that we we're okay. We're going
Yeah,
to
we're going to
you know,
Singapore.
we're going to Singapore.
November.
Yeah, and we're gonna eat some noodles at the noodle place downstairs.
Chinatown, let's
Some that
go.
Chinese the Sichuan pepper noodles.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yes. And we look forward to it. So we want to be able to also have that here in the Philippines, and hopefully that this is now an avenue for you guys to also enjoy the community that you guys will be growing with us here. Yeah, and that's pretty much why we asked you. We enjoy the games that you've designed, and we're excited to see now like, what are you design. I know that you're observing the market, you're seeing how and I appreciate that too. It's sometimes it's also hard to just keep on designing, and then you're not there to appreciate people just enjoying the games, and then growing the community to enjoy the games. And I think as a designer, it also is part of the task to
Yeah.
not only just come up with new ideas, but also to somehow help get that game more introduced to more players. And amazing that you have now a global reach for your games, and I'm excited to see. I'm pretty sure River Woods would also be picked up by international publishers, if it not has been already in the ropes and you just can't mention
Yeah.
yet.
It's okay. You want that.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Actually,
So
I
yeah,
do hope that games from Philippines will also gain more attention worldwide as well. Yeah, in fact, I do played a number of games from the Philippines, and I do enjoy games like the Folded Wishes. I can't remember there's this female heroine game. I can't remember what's her name. There's this female superhero.
Darna.
Yes,
Darna.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the one from Mikey, is it Mikey? The one that
The one with the turtles?
yes,
Pawikan Patrol. But
yeah.
it because it's in
Yeah, because
Filipino.
it's in Tagalog, yeah, so that's why I can't remember the modern name. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, because
actually I do find a
yeah,
lot of potential from Filipino designers as well, and I also really wish that the international community will get to know more about your games and get exposed to your games as well. So although it takes time, but I'm sure we as Southeast Asia or ASEAN we're going to get there sooner or later. Yeah, if the Vietnamese has already got their games worldwide. Yeah, I'm sure the Malaysian games, Filipino games, so on. Yeah, I think all of us as part of ASEAN we can grow together. Yeah,
Yeah, sounds good. And I think that's kind of the direction. If Singapore is creating waves into creating a brand of a destination convention, if Manila and the Philippines also can do the same, and then we'll have more countries also be able to do that. Eventually, we can have this sort of Asian Gen Con that we can say, hey, Asian Gen Con is in this country this year, and then next year it moves to the next one. I don't know, some mutation of that idea
Mhm.
because we're quite near. I appreciate actually that it is very accessible. It's not like you know,
you don't have to travel across the globe.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
on the
There's
other side.
no time difference.
Yeah, like pretty much when we're traveling within ASEAN, at most it's like an hour difference
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
in time zones.
Yeah, I think only for Japan visitors that are the ones coming down 4 hours, 3 hours.
The flight, but the time difference
The
is not
time
that.
difference
Yeah,
is nothing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not
yes,
much
yeah, so
difference.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, yes. So no
jet
falling
lag,
asleep, no
no
jet
jet
lag.
lag.
Awesome, awesome. So I super thank you for joining us today. It has been an amazing conversation. We will be doing this on Bacon itself. We'll be setting up one of the sponsors. So aside from Sir
Ludus.
Freddy Ludus, uh, we have a new sponsor called Spaceport. This is where we are at the moment.
Mhm.
So it's a space, it's a creative space, and we will be talking about it more and more these uh, next episodes. But we will also set up a booth there. So if you want to create content, if you want to create shots or some playthroughs, hit that recording, and you can see that quick lighting, good capture, good audio, and so people can check that out also. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Well, Nico just got here. Nico, one of our designers, actually got to play Riverwoods last Friday for the first time. Yeah.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope you
because he
like.
was quite busy.
Yeah, he didn't get to play it in Singapore.
Yes.
So yeah,
Hmm.
on Friday we tried it out again.
Cool. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks
Until
for
next
having me.
time. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Geoffrey,
You.
stay until after the show. We'll just do end the stream and then we'll be back in the studio in a bit.
Goodbye, everyone else.
Goodbye, everyone else. Though.
Bye.
Bye. There's no outro video, so it just ends. Oh, so it just ends. We don't have an outro video still.
And stream.
Hey, we are ending the stream in 3, 2, 1. Bye.